In this training video, we will be covering how to install a TPO Inside Corner.
We're going to review base termination along a wall without the use of our 6-inch RTS strip. What this is going to consist of is installing fasteners and plates directly through the field sheet installed 12 inches on center. It is important to note that when these plates are installed, that we allow for a minimum of 1/2 inch from the edge of the plate to the edge of the field sheet on our installation. We're going to review the flashing application details to install this inside corner. So as you can see, we have our field sheet terminated 12 inches on center, and we have a corresponding piece of flashing that's been adhered to the wall. The first thing that we need to do is add termination to this vertical flashing, which will require termination 12 inches on center up the wall. So what we're going to do is install our piece of flashing right now. And what we'll do is we'll look and we'll measure where our plates are onto the deck. The outside edge of our plate in this instance comes out 3 inches from the wall. We want to extend the tail of our flashing to ensure that it comes out to the plates to allow fully for our 1.5 inch minimum weld. In this case, we're going to bring the flashing out 6 inches from the wall. So what we have to do now is we are going to bond our flashing, work this piece of flashing up and over this wall, and complete this entire detail without making a cut into the flashing. The first thing that we've done is we've given ourselves some mark on the sheets to indicate where we'll be putting our bonding adhesive. So while we're going to be running the tail of our flashing out 6 inches to fully cover our seam plates, we're going to add 1 inch where our adhesive will go, where this vertical seam will be along the corresponding flashing. The next thing that we have to do is we have to apply bonding adhesive to our substrate. For this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be snapping a line indicating where the top of our flashing will be going. We always want to flash up and over a wall if at all possible, but in this case, we're going to be flashing up 12 inches. After our adhesive is flashed, the next thing that we have to do is we have to make a bend in this flashing. As indicated earlier, the bottoms of our flashing are going to come out 6 inches along this seam. So what we have to do is add 1 inch to the vertical side where we're going to bend it before we install the flashing. So right here we have marks at 7 inches. So we're going to bend our flashing piece to those lines, and we're actually going to put a crease into the field sheet. Okay. Once our sheet has been creased, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to hang our flashing and roll the flashing to the substrate. The next step that we have to take is we have to clean the flashing as well as the field membrane in all areas that are to be welded. As you can see, this is the position that our corner flashing piece is in prior to welding the corner. So when it's time to weld this whole corner together, the first place that we have to start welding is right at this 90. We have to weld this all the way out to avoid the flashing from bridging. After our 90 degree has been welded, the next thing that we have to weld is we are going to weld this piece of flashing to this wall as high and tight as we can get it. But while we're welding this, we're going to avoid our 1.5 inch finish weld. The next thing that we're going to do after this has been welded into place, but please note that our 1.5-inch weld has still not been completed. So we're going to weld this piece of flashing together. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to put a plate behind the wall so when we weld this fold together, it doesn't get stuck to the corresponding piece of flashing. Please note, when we start welding this corner, we're going to start welding approximately 3/4 of an inch to an inch up from the inside corner to avoid causing a burn into the bottom part. After all of our welding is complete, the last step that we want to take is to thoroughly probe our welds.